In at number 5, War on Terrier. Back in April of 2016, Amber Heard was involved in what the media dubbed the War on Terrier debacle. Her and Depp had to do this really awkward apology video because Amber had violated Australia's biosecurity codes by not declaring the Yorkshire Terriers that she brought into the country.
And Australians are just as unique, both warm and direct. When you disrespect Australian law, they will tell you firmly.
I am truly sorry that Pistol and Boo were not declared.
Then prosecutors dropped 2 more charges on Amber for illegally importing the terriers while Depp had been filming the 5th movie in the Pirates of the Caribbean series. The conviction on the illegal importation counts could have possibly sent her to prison for up to 10 years, and additionally false documents can charge carriers a maximum penalty of a year in jail and a fine of more than 10,000 Australian dollars. However, Magistrate Bernadette Callahan only sentenced her to a 1-month good behavior bond, which means she will have to pay a $1,000 fine if she commits any further offenses in Australia. In at number 4, illegal staff members. Amber Heard willfully lied again, except this time to US immigration by telling them that her British personal assistant was just a friend and was not working unlawfully. Her former aide Kate James, who was fired by the actress in February of 2015, alleged in a high court battle that Miss Heard deliberately smuggled her dogs into Australia, which led to her being caught breaching quarantine rules and overall thinking that she was above the law. The claims were made in a witness statement by Miss James, which was submitted to the High Court as part of Johnny Depp's libel action against the Sun newspaper. Not only that, but Heard had also asked Depp's former estate manager to lie under oath after she was charged with bringing her 2 dogs into Australia illegally. In at number 3, doggy doo-doo. One of the most bizarre incidents to make its way into this case was the mystery about who left poop in Johnny Depp's bed. Heard had celebrated her 30th birthday party at the home that she shared with Depp and then went to Coachella afterwards, which is what she was using as her excuse for why she couldn't be implicated in that scenario. However, Amber sort of stuck her own foot in her mouth when she said that the housekeeper typically cleans up after her dogs whenever they happen to defecate in the house. So when the housekeeper was called for questioning, you would think she could substantiate that this was all just a big misunderstanding. Unfortunately for Amber, the housekeeper said that she has worked for Depp for more than 30 years and confirmed that she has never known either dog to defecate in the bed, adding that neither dog could even jump onto the bed if they wanted to. Plus, she told the courtroom that she handled a lot of dog poop in that time, and this one seemed to be human. Amber Heard, ya nasty. In at number 2, the busted lip. The initial reports that came out against Johnny Depp were that he slapped Amber, dragged her by her hair through their apartment, and then repeatedly punched her in the head. When asked in the courtroom what injuries she had sustained, Amber said that she had 2 black eyes, a broken nose, a broken rib, bruises all over her body, and that Depp had also busted her lip open. However, the problem with Amber's timeline is that when she alleged these events to have taken place, a video from that evening's festivities shows her on camera after the alleged fight and with no signs of bruising whatsoever, which led to Depp's defense team to accuse her of building this new set of lies that all of the abuse actually took place after everyone had left the home. So again, her story is just changing constantly. The other way that she was caught lying was when the lawyers cited her appearance on the Late Late Show with James Corden right after her allegations put Depp's abuse around this time. The clip was even played in the courtroom, and again, Heard had no visible bruises during the filming. Coming in at our number 1 spot, the police report. In April of last year, Johnny Depp had filed a defamation lawsuit against Amber for $50 million after she wrote an opinion piece for the Washington Post about the domestic abuse she was suffering from being with him. As a result, Depp was fired from his role as Captain Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean, and his reputation was severely tarnished. However, Depp's lawyers received a bombshell of an audio confession where Heard actually admitted to abusing Johnny. Now the hashtag Justice for Johnny is continuously trending, with fans of his not only urging for her to not just be removed from the next Aquaman film, but face criminal charges as well. And this case is actually sort of similar to the Jussie Smollett case, and just like Jussie, Heard should also be in jail for making a false police report that Depp had abused her. Johnny Depp has accused Amber Heard of pocketing the $7 million settlement from their 2016 divorce. According to Depp, Miss Heard has lied about giving the money to charity, and today on the channel we're going to try and make sense of these accusations to see if there's any validity to it. But first, make sure you guys hit that like button because it really helps us out. And with that out of the way, let's just dive right into today's story. So late last night, the Associated Press began reporting that Johnny Depp and his lawyers are now pressuring Amber Heard to prove whether or not she donated the settlement to charity. Depp has continuously claimed that Heard only married him for his money, and if it comes out that she broke her promise about donating to charity, then this claim is right on par. Amber has declared that she didn't want Johnny Depp's money after their brutal divorce back in 2016, and so she vowed that it would be split into 2 separate donations to charity. But the big thing was that she was giving all of this money to charity. However, Johnny Depp's lawyers now believe that this virtuous gesture was nothing but a ruse. His lawyers have spent a majority of the past year trying to get proof from the Children's Hospital in Los Angeles and the American Civil Liberties Union just to see if she actually donated the money. So far, the ACLU has refused to cooperate with any subpoenas that they've been sent, but documents were obtained by the Daily Mail that suggest the charity only received $100,000 from Ms. Heard, a far cry from the $3.5 million that they were promised back in 2016. Turns out the LA Children's Hospital has also been secretly worried about the lack of her donations, but still refused to call her out for it in the press. Bosses at the LA hospital even wrote a letter to Amber in June of 2019 asking if her pledge would be fulfilled or not. In the letter, the Associate Senior Vice President of the Children's Hospital says, "I am following up on the correspondence that Children's Hospital Los Angeles Foundation received on August 26, 2016, which CHLA was notified by Edward White & Company, that a $3.5 million pledged gift has been made in your honor. In the correspondence, see enclosure, it states, the first of multiple scheduled installments to honor the full amount of Ms. Heard's $3.5 million pledged gift. Since the first installment, CHLA has not received further installments. I am inquiring if you have knowledge if CHLA should accept further installments on your behalf or if the pledge will not be fulfilled." So essentially the charity's saying, hey, we got your first payment, but it's been 3 years since you did that again. And you know what's even more of a joke? Amber Heard didn't even make the first payment herself. Yeah, Johnny Depp made that payment on her behalf because she was so adamant about not wanting his money during their divorce hearing. In a witness statement from Amber Heard and dated on February 26th, Amber states, "I remain financially independent from him the whole time we were together, and the entire amount of my divorce settlement was donated to charity. Even when they were in court for Depp's libel case against the Sun, Judge Andrew Nichols cited that her charity donation was proof enough that she wasn't after Depp's money. However, we still have yet to see any receipts. People keep defending her, but the only one supplying evidence is Johnny Depp and his legal team. If she shows that she donated a total of $3.5 million to each charity, then we can believe her. But as of now, I'm starting to think that money got spent on legal fees instead." The worst part about this is that Amber Heard actually tried to blame Johnny Depp for the delay on her donations, citing that she has spent millions defending herself against false accusations made in the defamation case. Although, here's the thing, Amber, that was 2 years after your divorce. She didn't even write that op-ed piece in the Washington Post until 2018. You had 2 years after your divorce was finalized to donate the money as promised. Now, let me jog Amber's memory here because everything she has said in court has been recorded. In August of 2016, Amber Heard said, and I quote, "As described in the restraining order and divorce settlement, money played no role for me personally and never has, except to the extent that I could donate it to charity and in doing so, hopefully help those less able to defend themselves. As reported in the media, the amount received in the divorce was $7 million, and $7 million is being donated. This is over and above any funds that I have given away in the past and will continue to give away in the future. The donation will be divided equally between the ACLU, with a particular focus to stop violence against women, and the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, where I have worked as a volunteer for the past 10 years. Now, because of this overwhelmingly kind gesture from Amber Heard, Johnny Depp said, well, if you're gonna give all the money away to charity, you know what? I'll help you out. He even promised Heard and the court that he would donate this settlement on her behalf. However, instead, Amber got defensive by this suggestion and said that Depp should double his donation if he wanted to interfere. Adding to all of this confusion, the Daily Mail also reported that they discovered 2 further donations made to the hospital, both in honor of Amber Heard. One was received in 2017 and was for $500,000, and another was received in 2018 for $250,000. Still nothing close to the $3.5 million, and still nothing coming directly from Amber Heard herself. She was also included on a 2017 donors list, recognizing those who had given between $1 million and $5 million in donations. However, both charities have refused to comment any further about Ms. Heard's donations, citing that communications with their donors are confidential. But what are your thoughts on the story though? Do you think Amber Heard never gave away any of the money, or do you think that this story is being twisted somehow? A claim from Amber Heard that she would donate all of her divorce settlement with Johnny Depp to a charity is now being called into question. Depp's legal team actually thinks that this could have even influenced the judge's original decision in Depp's libel trial. Now, after visiting the Court of Appeals, we now have new evidence from Johnny Depp that suggests Amber Heard lied about the charity donations. Although before we dive into all those details, make sure you check out our brand new Royal Family News playlist to get all caught up on the latest royal tea. And with that out of the way, let's just smash that like button and dive right in. Recently, Johnny Depp and his legal team were back in court looking to appeal a ruling made by Judge Nichols last year. Depp's lawyers are now arguing that Heard saying she would donate the settlement was a calculated and manipulative lie that was meant to influence the judge's decision. In their opinion, he was subliminally influenced by the evidence of donation that included victims of domestic violence. In response, the legal team representing news group newspapers defended publishers of The Sun. They told the Court of Appeal that Amber Heard was still a victim of serious domestic domestic violence, even if she had been feisty and admitted on video to slapping Johnny Depp. And yes, they actually called her feisty for her ex-husband. They also reminded the judge of the ample support for Heard's evidence as Depp's team looked to overturn the ruling. Turns out that Amber Heard 100% lied in court about donating the divorce settlement to charity like she had claimed. In addition to this, Johnny Depp's lawyers argued that the judge had also erred in not attaching any significance to the multiple recordings in which Amber appeared to admit to her ex-husband. Now, in my last video updating you on this recent appeal, we were still unaware if Depp or Amber would be present for this hearing. As reported by The Guardian, neither Depp nor Heard were present at the Royal Courts of Justice in London though, even though Amber Heard specifically is a key witness at the libel trial against NGN. Immediately after losing the original trial, Depp's legal team began the application process for permission to appeal the ruling, hoping to present more evidence that Amber lied. Amber had pledged to split her $7 million divorce settlement evenly between two charities. Part of it was supposed to go to the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, and the other half of it would go to the American Civil Liberties Union, or ACLU for short. Depp's barrister said in a written submission on behalf of him, "The pledges about donating the $7 million has strengthened Heard's credit in an exceptional way," but he added that was a calculated and manipulative lie, designed to achieve a potent favorable impression from the outset. Adding, "They, NGN, would have no defense without Miss Heard. There were many other witnesses, but she was on any view center stage." He also added that Heard's witness statements referred to how the entire amount of her divorce settlement was donated to charity. Depp's barrister also told 3 Court of Appeal judges that they say it was a potentially subliminal message because of the way Amber presented an almost repulsed attitude towards keeping Depp's money after the way that she claims he had treated her. Hence the move to donate every penny of his to charity. Now, to give you a bit of a timeline refresher here, it was back on August 18th of 2016 that Amber first publicly stated that the $7 million would be equally split between charity donations. However, only one donation to the hospital was ever made, and it was only for $100,000, which is not even close to the $3.5 million that she had promised them. Additionally, the ACLU only received $350,000 and a subsequent $100,000 donation according to documents released online. At the end of Johnny's libel hearing last year, Mr. Justice Nickel had rejected Depp's claim that Heard was a gold digger, even saying in his ruling that her donation of the $7 million to charity is hardly the act one would expect from a gold digger, which is, in my opinion, is why it was so brilliant for her to lie about. I mean, she literally tricked a judge who was supposed to, well, have good judgment. Depp's legal team went on to argue, saying that if the truth about the charity claim emerged at the trial, it would have materially affected Mr. Justice Nickel's consideration of Miss Heard's evidence as a whole, adding her public statements expressly stated that the ACLU donation had victims of domestic violence specifically in mind. The subliminal message of the charity claim was in any event clear. Miss Heard would not wish to keep any of Mr. Depp's money because he had subjected her to serious violence. The evidence presented, and was obviously intended to present her in the strongest terms as both virtuous and a victim. This time around though, you can guarantee that Depp's lawyers are not playing around. They also attacked from another front, saying that the High Court judge unfairly rejected evidence that they deemed to be unfavorable to Amber Heard during the trial, regardless of the impact it may have had on the final decision. More specifically, they believe the judge should have placed more focus on Amber admitting that she couldn't promise to not get physically violent with Mr. Depp again. Although bizarrely enough, NGN was able to get the trial judge to dismiss these private recordings simply by referring to them as bickering between two people who were in the final stages of a relationship, which is absolutely insane. You mean to tell me that the evidence that proves Johnny Depp was used in his relationship is not allowed to be admitted in court? What a lovely double standard we've created for ourselves here. For now, the Court of Appeal judges have said that they will deliver their judgment in written form as soon as they come to a decision. Johnny Depp has been handed a massive win in court as a judge agrees to give him access to Amber Heard's phone records. In doing this, Johnny Depp's legal team hopes to prove that Amber Heard faked her injuries when she took this alleged incident to the police. I'm your host, Johnny Rogers, and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know right here on IO. Right now, Johnny Depp is waging a $50 million libel suit against Amber Heard, and in doing so, his legal team claimed that she had doctored the photos presented to police. The photos in question are the ones where she appears to have 2 black eyes, which she claims were a result of a 2015 incident with Johnny Depp. Depp's lawyer Benjamin Chu said in a court filing, "Miss Heard's counsel has repeatedly used these phony photographs at deposition." And back in 2019, Amber had written an op-ed piece for the Washington Post where she spoke about domestic violence. Despite not mentioning Johnny Depp's name in the article, she later claimed that she suffered 2 black eyes, a broken nose, and a busted lip after Depp attacked her in Los Angeles. However, Depp's lawyer countered and said that when the LAPD had arrived at the home, they found no injury upon Miss Heard and saw no sign of disruption in the penthouse. Chu also also alleged further in his filing, Ms. Heard and her friends then fabricated photos that she used to obtain an ex parte TRO, temporary restraining order, and a $7 million divorce settlement, which Ms. Heard falsely testified in London she gave to the ACLU and more scandalously to the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles sick children with cancer. The LAPD also disavowed the photos that were submitted because they said that it did not depict what they had actually saw. Now, this Virginia court is allowing Depp's legal team to get an expert that can actually take a look at Amber's phone and try to find evidence of any photo tampering. The earlier images that were submitted could also not be properly verified because they came without any metadata, which made it harder for their expert Brian Neumeister to verify the details of the photo. Benjamin Chu goes on to speak about this in the court filing and says, Mr. Neumeister's preliminary investigation shows that a number of the photographs have been run through a photo editing application called Photo 3 that can easily manipulate images such as showing bruises where none actually existed. Back in November of 2020, Johnny Depp lost his libel case against the Sun newspaper in the UK. This court battle was over a disparaging article they printed about him, and in the ruling by Judge Nicol, he said that the Sun had proved their article to be substantially true, which was based on them finding that 12 of the 14 alleged incidents of domestic violence had actually occurred. But in this new finding, Depp's legal team argued that the Sun's own expert had said that the photos presented by Amber were manipulated 3 years after the original incident. He went on to say that this expert had found that the photos were from an iPad Pro 10.5 and were created either on or after October 6, 2018, saying that any editing of the trial bundle versions would have been on or after October 6, 2018. He then claims, so Ms. Heard or someone on her behalf doctored those photographs 3 years later. When that came up in her testimony in London, Ms. Heard falsely denied it. In short, Your Honor, without forensic imaging, Mr. Neumeister cannot properly assess or verify Ms. Heard's data. There was something else here that he mentioned which also struck me as odd, and I don't know if we've actually covered this before, but Amber Heard appeared on the James Corden show the day after this alleged attack happened. She later said that she wore heavy makeup to hide the bruising, but Depp's lawyer said that Amber was trying to masquerade as a victim instead of the attacker. In this same filing for Amber to turn over her phone, the judge also denied the notion that Depp should have to hand over his phone records and laptop, mainly because Amber Heard's attorney had asked for too broad of a search at the time. Amber Heard has just been caught lying under oath, and it's all thanks to a makeup company calling her out. If you didn't know, Johnny Depp is waging a $50 million defamation suit against Amber Heard, and in doing so, his legal team claimed that she had doctored the photos presented to police. The photos in question are the ones where she appears to have two black eyes, which she claims were a result of a 2015 incident with Johnny Depp. Depp's lawyer Benjamin Chu said in a court filing, Ms. Heard's counsel has repeatedly used these phony photographs at deposition. And back in 2019, Amber had written an op-ed piece for the Washington Post where she spoke about domestic violence. Despite not mentioning Johnny Depp's name directly in the article, she later claimed that she suffered two black eyes, a broken nose, and a busted lip after Depp attacked her in Los Angeles. However, Depp's lawyer countered and said that when the LAPD had arrived at the home, they found no injury upon Ms. Heard and saw no sign of disruption in the penthouse. Chu alleged further in his filing, Ms. Heard and her friends then fabricated photos that she used to obtain an ex parte, TRO, which is a temporary restraining order, and a $7 million divorce settlement, which Ms. Heard falsely testified in London that she gave to the ACLU, and more scandalously to the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles sick children with cancer. The LAPD also disavowed the photos that were submitted because they said it did not depict what they had saw. Now, this Virginia court is allowing Depp's legal team to get an expert that can take a look at Amber's photos and try to find evidence of any photo tampering. The earlier images that were submitted could also not be properly verified because they came without any metadata, which made it harder for their expert Brian Neumeister to actually verify the details of this photo. Benjamin Chu goes on to speak about this in the court filing and says, Mr. Neumeister's preliminary investigation shows that a number of the photographs have been run through a photo editing application called Photo 3 that can easily manipulate images such as showing bruises where none actually existed. Back in November of 2020, Johnny Depp lost his libel case against the Sun newspaper in the UK. And this court battle was over a disparaging article that they printed about him, and in the ruling by Judge Nicol, he said that the Sun had proved their article to be substantially true, which was based on them finding that 12 of the 14 alleged incidents of domestic violence had actually occurred. But in this new finding, Depp's legal team argued that the Sun's own expert had said that the photos presented by Amber were manipulated 3 years after the original incident. He went on to say that this expert had found that the photos were from an iPad Pro 10.5 and were created either on or after October 6, 2018, saying that any editing of the trial bundle versions would have been on or after October 6, 2018. He then claims, so Ms. Heard or someone on her behalf doctored those photos photographs 3 years later. When that came up in her testimony in London, Ms. Heard falsely denied it. In short, Your Honor, without forensic imaging, Mr. Neumeister cannot properly assess or verify Ms. Heard's data. There was something else that he mentioned which also sort of struck me as odd. When Amber Heard appeared on James Corden's show the day after this alleged attack, she said that she actually wore heavy makeup to hide the bruising. But Depp's lawyer said that Amber was actually trying to masquerade as a victim instead of the attacker. In the same filing for Amber to turn over her phone, the judge also denied the notion that Depp should have to also hand over his phone records and laptop, mainly because Amber Heard's attorney had asked for too broad of a search. Now, just a few days ago, Amber Heard's attorney claimed that her client would cover up the alleged bruising using a makeup kit during her relationship with Depp, but the brand that she uses as an example is actually calling her out for lying. During her lawyer's opening statement, she told the jury that they had been hearing testimony and seeing evidence proving Amber would use different products to achieve this, and to support her claim, she held up one of the items that Amber had apparently used way back when this first happened, including a very specific Milani correcting kit. And the issue with this is that the makeup kit she was holding up was not even in circulation during the time period that her lawyer was describing, which would be roughly between 2012 and 2016. And the company even posted a TikTok video on their page that refuted the claims made by Heard's attorney. In the caption they wrote, "You asked us, let the record show that our correcting kit launched in 2017. And in addition to that caption, they added a hypercut of videos to support their claim that the makeup wasn't launched until December of 2017. So in short, it proved that there was no way Amber could have even been carrying around this kit in her purse like her lawyer had claimed. However, she wouldn't be a good lawyer if she didn't have an excuse for every counterclaim. It is possible that her response to this will be that she wasn't talking about the Milani kit in particular, but rather giving an example of what a makeup kit looked like. I'm assuming that will be the defense. To be fair, she didn't specifically mention the company's name, but they certainly took offense to being used in this trial when the kit had not even been released yet. As per TMZ, a friend of Amber's told them, "Ms. Heard's lawyer was using an example of the kind of makeup that she used, but it's a sad day when a makeup company uses that as an opportunity to make light of what victims of domestic violence have to do to hide the results of the they endure."
Starting off in our number 10 spot, we have Back in Time. For a second to start off with, we are going to take a step out of this ongoing trial and talk about something that happened back in 2009. During this time, Amber Heard was actually arrested and charged with hitting her then partner Tazia Van Ree. In the end, the charges were dropped, but this isn't where the lie comes in. The pair tried to claim that the only reason Heard was arrested was because the arresting police officer had realized that they were partners, not friends, and that the arrest motive was homophobia and prejudice. It was later found out that the officer who had arrested Heard was in fact part of the LGBTQIA+ community herself, and was actually an advocate and person who fought for equal rights. The officer spoke out after this entire ordeal, saying that despite these claims against her, she arrested Amber because an assault occurred and that she was the one who witnessed it in the first place. In our number 9 spot today, we have the bed. This is an incident that we had definitely heard stories of prior to this currently ongoing trial, but during the trial we heard it spoken about more in depth. Basically, Johnny and Amber had an argument, after which Depp had left to give some space. This is when it is said that Johnny's housekeeper sent him a photo of a less than pleasant surprise that she unfortunately was left to deal with. This horrible surprise turned out to be that someone had left fecal matter in the bed that the two had shared together. Depp told the courtroom in reference to the incident that, quote, "My initial response to that was, I laughed." He then went on to say, quote, "It was so outside, it was so bizarre and so grotesque that I could only laugh." He then goes on to explain that Amber had actually tried to lie about the incident, and in the 2020 trial, which we'll talk more about, she denied doing this. Amber is said to have tried to blame this mess on their dogs, but during this trial, Johnny has explained that the dogs they had were teacup Yorkies, about 4 pounds each. He certainly knows what their mess would look like, and according to Johnny, what was on the bed was not it. In our number 8 spot today, we have the makeup kit. During this currently ongoing trial, Amber Heard's lawyer showed the jury a makeup palette as part of their evidence. The makeup palette in question was Milani's all-in-one correcting kit, and the reason it was introduced into the trial is because it was stated that Amber used this specific product during her marriage in order to cover the bruises that she claims he gave her. Since this statement was made in court, Milani Cosmetics has actually come forward in the form of a TikTok to refute that evidence. The TikTok posted by the brand pointed out that this specified product was in fact not even released until 2017, which would contradict the evidence. This is because the alleged that this product was said to be covering up is said to have taken place between 2012 and 2016, which is obviously before the product was introduced to the market. It is possible that the lawyer may have just been pointing out this product as an example of the type of product she used, but it was definitely not this product as they seem to have claimed. In our number 7 spot today we have Australia. So this is a claim that Amber made about a time that her and Johnny were in Australia together. Amber claimed that during this time she was held like a hostage for 3 days, and during these days she said she came to harm multiple times. Despite these very serious allegations, it later came to light that during this hostage situation she claims to have been in, she not only had her cell phone, but also there was security just outside of the door. She testified that she could have called anybody to come and get her at any point if she wanted to, despite previously saying those very serious things that she had mentioned prior. It is said that Amber claimed that on the second day of this 3-day hostage situation, which would have been March 7th, she endured a series of hours-long assaults. But despite these claims, on that day there were several people at the house speaking with both of them, including medical professionals who of course recorded no such findings. In our number 6 spot today we have the recording. During trial, Amber claimed that she only hit Johnny Depp once and that she did so in defense of her sister. It is said that this alleged incident occurred in March of 2015, which is after the Australia incident we just spoke about. So during trial there has been a series of audio recordings that have been submitted as evidence. Many of these recordings were taken by both parties consensually, and this is said to have been a regular occurrence in their relationship. On one of these recordings, which was taken in September of 2015, Amber clearly admits to hitting Johnny, which is of course contrary to her statement saying she only hit him once in defense of her sister. Of course, Amber's sister Whitney was asked about this event, and Whitney backed up the claims made by Amber. This was again refuted by a declaration made by Whitney's best friend and former employer, Jennifer Howell, who claimed that at the time when this incident is said to have occurred, that Whitney had actually told her that Amber was abusing Johnny and that she feared Amber would kill him. Jennifer also stated that Whitney had actually moved in with her at one point because she was so afraid of her own sister. In our number 5 spot today we have the December 2015 claims. Back in December of 2015, Amber claimed that she suffered 2 black eyes, a broken nose, broken lip, bruised ribs, bruises on her forearms, bruises in her hairline, scalp and chin, missing hair, and wounds that had pus in them. These are obviously some serious injuries, and on the 17th, just days later, it is said that she saw 2 separate nurses who gave her physical examinations. During both of these exams, neither nurse found any bruise, either fresh or healing. One of the 2 found a bleeding lip, but the nurse's notes claimed that the skin was intact, it was a normal color, and there was no sort of concussion. These medical notes obviously paint quite a different picture from the extensive injuries she claims to have received. In our number 4 spot today we have the psychologist. Just a few days ago during the trial, we heard a forensic psychologist testify named Dr. Shannon Curry, who was hired by Depp's legal team. During this testimony, she claimed that Amber Heard suffers from borderline personality disorder as well as histrionic personality disorder. Dr. Curry is said to have reached this diagnosis after interviewing Heard for 12 hours as well as after reviewing her mental health records. Now, while there's certainly nothing wrong with this diagnosis, this is where Dr. Curry's testimony brings up something that is in contrast to what Heard had previously claimed. Amber is said to have claimed to suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, as a result of the things that she endured over the course of her relationship with Johnny Depp. Dr. Curry, however, directly contradicted this in her testimony, where she claimed that Heard in fact does not suffer from PTSD. It is thought that Depp's team hopes that this testimony may help their contention that Heard was the aggressor during the couple's relationship. In our number 3 spot today we have the story. This entire list is full of really serious things and really serious accusations, and this one is certainly high up on the list of the most serious things we're talking about today. This is actually something that came out in court during the trial that took place in 2020. During this trial, Amber Heard's former assistant Kate James came forward to tell quite a terrible tale. James explained that years ago, when she was in her 20s, she experienced a horrible sexual assault that has haunted her ever since. It's already a terrible story, but was even furthered when Kate explained, quote, "To my utter shock and dismay, I discovered that Miss Heard had in fact stolen my sexual violence conversation with her and twisted it into her own story to benefit herself. This of course caused me extreme distress and outraged that she would dare to attempt to use the most harrowing experience of my life as her own narrative." It was during this trial that Kate explained that although she had been subpoenaed to give evidence, she was doing so because she is, quote, "a sexual violence survivor, and it's very serious to take that stance if you are not one." This was the trial that Depp had brought forth against The Sun for publishing the op-ed written by Heard, and it was at that moment during the trial that the lawyer representing The Sun discontinued their cross-examination of Kate. In our number 2 spot today, we have the LAPD testimony. Just a few days in court, we saw Los Angeles police officer Melissa Sain's testimony. This officer had been one of those who responded on May 21st, 2016 to Amber's penthouse after there was a call regarding DV. The officer testified that when she arrived at the scene, she found Amber crying and that her face was flushed red with emotion, but she explained that she didn't necessarily see any injuries. During the video deposition, the officer explained that, quote, "We met with the victim, we checked the location, the husband wasn't there, and that the victim advised us that she had just had an argument, and that she wasn't going to give us any further information. And because we didn't identify a crime, we issued her a business card, let her know that she could reach out to us later if she changed her mind and wanted to cooperate." It was just later that month, after this 2016 incident, that Heard filed a restraining order against Depp, accusing him of being violent towards her. In our number 1 spot today, we have the settlement. It is said that on multiple occasions, Amber claimed that the fund she received from her divorce settlements were funds that she would entirely be donating to charity. She is said to have claimed this on TV, in various newspaper articles, and even on court statements that were signed under oath. This was directly disproven, however, as that simply is just not true. Of course, being caught in this lie, especially one she spoke about while under oath, she was questioned about it. Amber claimed that she was unable to fulfill her pledge because of the fact that she had to defend herself in court in this defamation lawsuit, but again, this was able to be disproven. The money that was donated is said to have been done so in increments, with the last payment being in February of 2018. Johnny Depp did not sue Amber until 2019, marking the discontinuation of these payments at a time before she was being sued by Depp. At this point, it is unclear if she initially lied about her intentions and the amount she was going to donate, or if she was just lying about the reason why she stopped the payments.